Tractate Bava Batra, page 65. We are 9 lines from the bottom of the page. We continue the subject of selling an estate, but it wasn't any specifications within the sale of the estate over certain items. And the Rashbam tried to tell us that we have to differentiate between movable object to a non-movable object. And here are several scenarios. 1. Itmar. We learn in Beit HaMidrash, Shnei Batim. You have one owner of two different estates, two different houses. And Ze Lifnim Mizeh, which is you have the inner and the outer part, which is very similar to what we call row houses in this country, or the old generation developments. So you have the outer and the inner. The problem is that one needs to pass through the other in order to get to a general public domain. So from the one who leaves the inner part, he is basically the in-between the outer part. Shnehem bemecher. The problem is that that owner, let's call him Reuven, who owns these two properties, sold it to two people. One, the inner part is to Shimon, and the outer part he sold to Levi. Shnehem bematana, or he gave as a gift, which soon you see the difference, to two different people. Shimon, let's say, received it as a gift, and Levi received the outer part as a gift. The problem is, en lahen derech ze al ze, shekol sheken chitzon bematana ubefnimi bemecher. So, therefore, they do not have a right away against each other, which means the one who acquired the inner residence, which is Shimon, may not, Levi may not pass through the outer residence, since each of them receive equal privileges from the previous owner. And for sure, it's if the outer residence was transferred by means of gifts, and as you know, the moment a person receives a gift, so he gives it with a full heart, without any leftover, just a full heart. So therefore, and the inner residence was transferred the same in the manner of gift, it may be assumed that the gift is made in more generous manner than its sale. That's the Rashbam. So what you see here, the gift, the rabbi said, particularly the Rashbam, but you see it also others, that when it's come to give, people have a chibaya terah, a special feeling toward the other person. They give it as a gift, and therefore it's expresses of love. And since our subject in the past several days is a ayin yafain, a matter of full generosity, that takes place much more than the regular manner of sale. The same applies chitzon bemecher upnimi bematana. When the outer residence was transferred by a regular manner of sale, the inner one received it as a gift. So originally speaking, we thought, ein lahem derech ze al ze. The one who lives in the inner part has no right to access toward the one who lives in the outer part. Why? Because when it's a sale, so it's a full of a sale. And it's very unlikely, the rabbi said, that he gave one in ayin yafa, in a generous manner, and one in ayin ra. It's kind of unlikely to have it. We assume that it was gift in an equal way. And the truth is, velohi, it's not so. Mi lotnan. We are going to study on page 71 במה דברים אמורים, that he needs to take a special path, במוכר, when the owner of the field sold the peat or the dovecote, אבל בנותן מתנה, נותן את כולם. על מה? מאן דיהיב מתנה בעין יפה יהיב. Anyone who gives a gift in a matter of gift, sincere gift, it's a generous gift, it's full-hearted gift. And when a person generally gives to his friend a gift, we assume that he wants to transfer to him as many privileges as possible. So they said, מה מראה דברים אומרים ממוכר, אבל נותן מתנה, נותן את כולם. על מה מאן דהיב מתנה בעין יפה, אחרי מאן דהיב מתנה בעין יפה יהיב. You have to say that one who gives the gifts, the recipient of the inner resident acquires the right away through the outer apartment. So my brother-in-law, one of his so many books, he wrote this daf al daf, which is page by page explanation of additional explanation of the Gemarrah. So he brought, in conjunction to this, a beautiful Pardes Yosef, is one of the Parshanut, one of the commentary on the Torah, and here on Parashat Lech Lecha. So he brought a Vilna Gaon, the Gra, that said, based on this Gemarrah, what Abraham Avinu, our forefather Abraham, said in the book of Bereshit, chapter 15, Bama eda ki rashena, when he has some type of dialogue between the Almighty and Abraham, he said, how do I know that I will inherit the Holy Land? So he explained that when it's come to a righteous person, he receives a special blessing in two different ways. One is the reward of his good deeds, schar mitzvotav. Number two, it's called matnat chinam, just a generous gift. So if it was a reward for something, if he may sin, he may lose it. Versus if it was chesed chinam, if it was a gift from God, in a sense it's an act of kindness, not as a reward, so that's called noten be'ain yafa. It was given in full heart. So he explained that we understand based on that, when the Almighty promised to Abraham the Eretz Israel, so he thought that he's matnat chinam, that he's like free gift, and therefore he knew that he will inherited it. But then when the text said, Ani Hashem Moshe rotzeticha me'eretz Mitzrayim, I'm the Almighty guy who will take you out, from Ur Kasdim, that was the place, the Midrash said that Abraham went to a fire and he was saved. That's one of the 10 trials the Pirkei Avot said that Abraham went through. So since the Almighty mentioned to Abraham that this is because of his great devotion to God, to the idea of God that is omnipresent, and the God that is the only and the unique God and the only one. So because he threw himself to the furnace, etc., etc., so therefore as a reward for that, God give him and his descendants the land. So he asked, Bama eda, how do I know that all my mistakes and errors and sins will not add up to avoid this reward? So God told him that this Yerusha, this inheritance, will never be abrogated regardless. And God said, "Lezaracha natati et haaretz," to you descendants, I'm going to give the Holy Land. Meaning that it's in the language it's written, it's like it's already there for them, and nothing will delay from giving it to them. But it's as we said, it's a beautiful touch. I just give you the vignette from Daf al Daf. Mishnah continue with halachot. If someone sell a house without any clear specification, he did not spell out what's included in the sale, and now we follow the Rashbam that said that we have to differentiate between kavua lemetaltelin, something that is a permanent, versus a movable objects. So for example, המוכר את הבית, a fellow sell a house, מכר את הדלת אבל לא את המפתח. He sold the door, for example, but not the key. The door is stable, is permanent, so therefore כל המחובר לקרקע, anything that attached to the ground, we take it, Rashbam said, the same as the ground. So therefore, the Gemarrah later explained that that's permanent. Versus key, as you know, is a movable object. מכר את המכתשת קבועה, אבל לא את המיטלטלת. So he sold the mortar that is fixed in the ground, but not the portable one. מכר את האצטרוביל, we sold the immovable lower milestone, אבל לא את הקלט, but not the portable upper stone. ולא את התנור ולא את הרחיים, בזמן שאמר הוא וכל מה שבתוכו. And not the oven nor the double stove. If he said, when the seller said, I'm selling it to you and everything that is in it. 65b, הרי כולן. So therefore all the utensils, all these components are basically sold, מכורים, as part of the sale of the house. So there are two reasons the Adrama and the Rashbam explains involved here. Number one, that is no dvarim yuchadim, something specifically for that house. So therefore, it's not batel legabav, it's not in a way incorporated as part of the selling the house. Number two, usually the seller will not move away from his estates in those days. So he meant to say that he wanted to live in the same neighborhood. So since even in his new house he has a need of those utensils, we may think that his intent is to take it with him to wherever he moves. So the Gemarrah said, maybe when it's come to the view of the Mishnah, is not follow the view of Rabbi Meir. The Rabbi Meir, we have a problem. Ha'amar machar et hakerem, machar et tashmishei kerem. If someone sell a vineyard, for example, he sold also the utensil in the vineyard, so including the immovable one. So the same should be true for the sale of a house. So the Gemara responded and said, Afilu teima Rabbi Meir, hatam kavia, hacha lo kavia. Over there in the Braita, you talk about something that is fixed, and here in the Mishnah is not. Veha mafteach dedumya dedelet diktane umadele dekvia mafteach kvia. So maybe you compare it to a door, the same way as the door hold and lock, the same as the key. אלא מחברת הרבנין לא כרבי מאיר. So you have to say that this Mishnah not follow רבי מאיר. תנו רבנן המוכר את הבית, מכר את הדלת ואת הנגר ואת המנעול, אבל לא את המפתח. If he sold the house, just general saying I'm selling the house, that's not included in those days. The door, the other part of the נגר, את המנעול, אבל לא את המפתח. מכר את המכתשת החקוקה, אבל לא את הקבועה. מכר את האסטרוביל, אבל לא את הקלט. לא את התנור, ולא את הקריים, ולא את הרחיים. So basically, here they say that it's not included, it's sold, but that's not included the immovable object. But he said, Rabbi Eliezer אומר כל המחובר לקרקע או קרקע. Rabbi Eliezer said a very important opinion. He said that anything is attached to the ground is considered like the ground and included the sale. בזמן שאמר לו וכל מה שבתוך הרי כולם מכורים, בין כך ובין כך לא מכר לו את הבור ולא את הדוד ולא את היציע. If it's regardless, both in the case is that he did not sell a pit, a cistern or the gallery, because they consider separate entities and they're not part of the house. The truth is there's so many halachic questions based on this daf. For example, when you have a joint building, you have a residential building, you have joint neighbors. So the question is, what do you do with tzinorot nikuz, those pipes that are coming out of the estates? It's because if they are wounded, for example, so each partner needs to, each neighbor, each resident needs to partake of that, including a high-rise building. That's part of the obligation of each and every individual, and that's one of the chidush, that it's a tashmish shoneh me'abayit.